And I'm Lauren St. Germain in for Wendy. Tonight, a federal lawmaker responds to an I-Team investigation. It exposed why thousands of homeless parents and their children are not eligible for federal housing dollars that could give them more stable places to live.
His candid answer when we asked him if change is coming and why critics say changing the definition isn't the answer. Here's I-Team reporter Katie LaGrone.
Ask any homeless advocate about the current state of homelessness in America.
It's crept into the middle class.
We're seeing more families that are two-parent families.
It hasn't gotten any better, and potentially we see signs of things actually getting worse.
Which may be all the more reason to question why thousands of homeless parents and their children are still unable to access certain federal dollars to help them find more stable homes.
It would be a simple fix.
And according to this federal lawmaker who represents Florida,
I just don't see it moving.
it's likely not going to change anytime soon.
I really hope that I'm wrong, but I've been following this for 5 years and haven't seen any practical attention to this issue yet.
U.S. Congressman Bill Posey is talking about a problem plaguing homeless families for years.
So this boils down to a definition.
Yes, absolutely. HUD only recognizes those folks who are literally living on the street or are living in shelters as having met their definition for homelessness.
Laura Tucker is the homeless liaison for Hillsborough County Schools, where more than half of students identified as homeless by the district are not living in a shelter or on the streets, but in some kind of shared housing, which makes them ineligible for certain HUD funding.
Any parent will tell you they would choose that as opposed to living on the side of the road or in the woods or even in a shelter.
As a parent, are you comfortable having your kids live on the streets or in a shelter?
No.
Such is the case for Marquita Ingram.
It's something I fight hard to not have to, I don't want my kids in that.
As a result, she and her 3 children have called this hotel home for the past 6 months.
Makes me feel like I failed my kids, in a sense. Even though I know I couldn't control it, but I feel that way sometimes.
Homelessness is not something that's on the radar every day, but it's a massive, massive problem.
In 2017, Posey co-sponsored legislation that would redefine HUD's definition of homelessness to better align with other government agencies, including the Department of Education, which does consider children who live in hotels or shared housing homeless and eligible for other services. It failed to pass. This year, similar bipartisan legislation has been introduced in both the House and Senate, but Posey isn't putting his money on change because HUD isn't pushing it.
It's a monolithic agency who just doesn't want to make any change in procedure because it might be inconvenient.
If we just flood the system with more families that have a place to stay, even though it's not perfect by any means, I don't think that's going to really help.
But critics, including the CEO for the National Alliance to End Homelessness, believes the answer to helping more families isn't in changing a definition.
What we need for these families is more affordable housing.
But numbers.
We're 7 million units short in the country of enough affordable housing for the low-income households that need it. That's what drives the homelessness problem. And putting people into shelter, if there even is shelter for them to go into, is not going to solve that problem.
That's basically it.
Until she can find affordable housing, this mom plans to stay put with her children in a hotel room, counting down the days.
Hoping with maybe a couple more months, hopefully, if I can find something. It's just been kind of hard.
In Tampa, I'm I-Team investigator Katie LaGrone, taking action for you.
Well, today an eviction turned deadly in an upscale Sarasota neighborhood, and we just got brand new information coming in just about an hour ago about that shooting. We're learning deputies who had a knife pulled on them first used a taser to try to stop the man before having to use deadly force. ABC Action News reporter Wendy Lane learns more about what led up to this incident.
It is a shame. This is, I'm sure you guys know the rents here are very high, and this is an expensive neighborhood, but a wonderful neighborhood.
Neighbors are in shock after learning what happened during an eviction in this Palm Place apartment building on Palm Avenue near downtown Sarasota.
We don't go solo to these calls for service. It's usually emotional. Someone's being removed from their home.
In this case, the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office says it was someone who didn't belong. Deputies say a 58-year-old man had been living in an apartment without paying rent since September after the owner of the apartment died.
The individual that was living with the owner decided to stay in this apartment and not pay rent. And unfortunately, in many ways, he was kind of squatting in this unit. He was not able to be here. His name was not on the lease. He should not have been here.
They say after months of legal actions, the man refused to leave. Deputies served a 24-hour eviction notice yesterday, then arrived this morning to remove the man. They say that's when things escalated.
When they went into the unit, the individual armed himself with a knife, and he advanced towards our deputies. At that point, again, we had 3 deputies there, and one of our deputies fired her weapon.
The man was killed. Deputies say the man had lived in the unit for 11 years with the owner previous to his passing. The apartment owners had been working to remove him ever since. Right now, detectives are continuing to investigate the incident. In Sarasota, Wendy Lane, ABC Action News.
All right, let's get a first check on weather as we take a live look outside and bring in Chief Meteorologist Dennis Phillips. Dennis, Mainsail Beach Inn, not looking too good tonight.
Yeah, a lot of clouds out there, but luckily, Lauren, I don't expect a lot of rain this evening. So there are a lot of folks, if you live in Citrus, Hernando, and Pasco County, 4, 5, 6 inches of rain in the last 24 hours. In fact, if you take a look at what's going on now, even though it looks threatening, it certainly did with all the clouds, but there's no rain outside of the extreme eastern part of Polk County. But check it out. These are the rainfall totals. 5, 6 inches common from Citrus, Pasco, and Hernando County. Polk County, some areas around 3 inches, Pinellas 1 to 2, but unfortunately, Sarasota County next to nothing. Same thing for DeSoto and Highlands. But you have a chance tomorrow, a good chance, and that timing will be in the afternoon and into the evening. So for the time being, this evening you're going outside, really nothing to worry about. Tomorrow morning, there will be a few showers coming in off the Gulf. They won't be widespread, but there'll be a couple. But the main area of rain rolls in later in the afternoon and into the evening. And there may even be a couple of severe storms along with that as well. I'll time that out for you and talk about Sunday's forecast in a few minutes.
All right. Thank you, Dennis. People continue to feel the pain at the pump. According to AAA, the national average is $4.21 a gallon. And here in Florida, the average is also above $4 at $4.19. But there is relief on the way. The president ordered the release of 1 million barrels of oil per day from the National Reserves.
ABC Action News reporter Mary O'Connell is taking a closer look at the impact and how soon we could feel relief at the pump.
When you fill up your tank, the pain at the pump is all too real.
A lot. It's been crazy.
Shelby Ryder just moved to Tampa from Clearwater and explained what it's like juggling family expenses and high prices.
It's a lot. You just have to rebudget some things and take some things out that you normally would do, maybe going out to dinner and stuff like that.
It's a sting many have felt in recent weeks.
This time last year it was about like 28 to 30 bucks. Now it's like 45.
As people